Hello and a warm welcome to Buriram in Thailand at the Chang International Circuit. Jonathan Green and Steve Martin here as we take a look at this now famous but still new 4.5 kilometer circuit here in northeast Thailand, and it's been the host for World Superbikes, World Touring Cars, and it was in fact the grand finale location for last year's GT Asia series. And we are now at rounds 3 and 4, just the second outing, having raced 2 rounds in Korea. We are now at round 3, and one man who knows all about this circuit and is on pole position for round 3, Carlo van Dam, originally from Holland, but effectively a Thai driver these days. He even drives in the Thai Touring Car Championship, TCR Championship, the new Thai TCR Championship, and he was a winner in that. Sean Fong and Marchi Lee for Phoenix Racing Asia getting ready for their outing. Sean Fong will be the first man out there, and it's been a good qualifying for the Audi. And Steve, while we've got a chance as we look through the grid, I want to get one thing out of the way. Balanced performance. They change it from round to round and race to race. Just explain what's changed from Korea, because Bentley absolutely dominated as we take a look. One of the Bentleys of Adelaide Fong and Andrew Kim. But explain, if you will, where we are on that for the change from previous to this.
Yeah, basically, if you're not familiar with what balance of the performance is, it's the way that we make the cars even on the track. We saw that in Korea at the start of the new year with so many new cars out on track that there was a bit of an imbalance. Some of the cars were better, that we hadn't had time to see how they perform. Now that we've had that Korea race and got it under our belt, Jonathan, we've been able to look at some of the different cars, and we saw that the Bentley, for example, did have a bit of a performance advantage over some of the other cars. So what we've done is we've sort of nobbled the Bentley back a little bit. We've given it a little bit less turbo boost, a little bit more ride height, and it's just slowed it down and brought it back to the pack.
As you can see, after 2 rounds, Kitasawa and Jonathan Venter lead the way in the Bentleys. Davide Riso and Anthony Liu in the Ferrari 488 are in 3rd and 4th place. Then Sean Thong and Marchi Lee. Interestingly enough, Kitasawa not here this weekend. He's on Le Mans duty. If you've got an excuse not to be at a race, being at Le Mans the 24 hours next weekend, not a bad one. But Keta deciding, and he was actually a little bit bummed after he won in Korea because he realized that he was leading the championship. But Jonathan Venter will be flying the flag for Bentley and that team. And in fact, he's brought a young hot shoe German into the team who has Bentley experience, and it's going to be interesting to see how he gets on. And I'm referring, of course, to Fabian Hambrecht.
Yeah, of course. The thing that those guys have got against them, especially compared to Korea, is both of those young drivers haven't been here before. 19-year-old Hambrecht and 20-year-old Venter, first time at the track, so they're really learning as they're going, hence qualifying down the field a little bit here for race 1 today.
It's actually one of the youngest pairings we've got in the series. 2 very, very good young drivers. One from Australia, Jonathan Venter, coming back from injury from last year. He missed a lot of last year, including this finale last year, where the championship was won and lost. Darrell Young, of course, the current champion of the series, and Jonathan Venter of Australia leading the way after that double win in Korea here in 2016. You're looking down the front straight now to the first corner, and it's a rolling start. Just to remind everyone watching around the world that this is a rolling start. We have 1 minute before we get underway. A 60-minute race with a compulsory pit stop, but there's some shenanigans that go with that, as well as we mentioned the balance of performance, but there's also success penalties as well.
Absolutely, and the way that works is we won't go too deeply into it because there's many different combinations, but the more you win in this championship, the more time gets added to your pit stop. It's an 84-second pit stop, but if you actually won the last 2 races, you add on an extra 12 seconds for every race win, and you also add on 12 seconds if you are a silver pairing.
Van Dam and Thong then will lead the way here in the first stint, 30-minute stint. Then it's Fong and Rizzo, 3rd and 4th, the Bentley and the Ferrari for BBT Racing from China. Tappi, great to see Duncan Tappi. He was pole here last year and he got his first win here. He's 5th on the grid. Liberati, the Italian, is 6th in the all-new FFF Huracan Lamborghini. Lyons and Venter the championship leader, down in 8th place, but you've just explained why. It'll be interesting to see how they run in this first stint. Jonathan Venter will be at the wheel. Alex Young, the former Formula 1 ace for Phoenix Racing, And Darrell Young, our current champion, down in 10th position, struggling a little bit, the Porsche, the brand new Porsche, and obviously the balance of performance not helping them this weekend, but it's certainly going to play out. Long live the king, says the sign, as the King of Thailand looks over proceedings here at Buriram. A fantastic facility, and as track temperatures soar, it's hotter than a Thai curry right now. It's over 36 degrees, and inside those cockpits even hotter.
Absolutely. We've got 3 temperatures we need to be looking at this weekend. Track temperature at the moment hovering around 50 degrees, but inside the cabs of these GT3 cars, Jonathan, about 66 degrees, and that's probably hot enough to cook an egg. So these guys are going to be really struggling to keep the fluids on board during this 1 hour race.
Do you know how hot it is, Steve? It's so hot that Richard Lyons put his Arrow helmet in the fridge 5 minutes before the start of this race.
We did see that, didn't we? Of course, these drivers do have lots of different cool suits and ice packs and all sorts of different things to keep them cool during the race. Probably the most comfortable car to be in out there is the Lamborghini, because that actually has an air conditioning unit fitted to it.
Yeah, the Ferrari has one too. We're talking to Davide Rizzo about that. So interesting. You'd actually get air conditioning. You'd think that would be extra weight. Also, interesting enough, mentioned those cool suits. I was talking to Frank Yu about this. He was saying that, yeah, the cool suit's fine, but it actually adds about 10 kilos. Once you get the ice and all the water going, actually having to carry that unit with you, you're adding an extra 10 kilos, which is the last thing you need.
Well, it is, because about 10 kilos added to one of these cars is 1 or 2 tenths of a lap, and that certainly adds up over the hour race distance.
We've been out on track. It's an interesting track, this. It's really nice. It's hard to compare it to any other tracks around the world. Like I said, to me, it reminds me of Valencia, just because we're sitting high atop of the grandstand you see in the distance there. And this has been the vision of one man. He also has a football team, the Buriram United football team, as you see there emblazoned. They'll be playing tomorrow night. I was talking to the coach, who's staying at our hotel, in fact, and they are the top team in Thailand. And if you know anything about Thailand sport, soccer or football is the biggest sport here, and closely followed by motorsport. Motorsport has grown over the years, but they have a huge tradition that goes back to Prince Bira and the heady days of the Thais racing in Formula One all those years ago. But touring cars and GTs very much king here. As you can see, they are lining up now, and this is where it gets interesting, because this is one of the crucial parts of the race. You get an advantage here, Steve, and it can change your race. And we're looking now for this field led by Carlo Van Dam to lead this field. As you can see, the lights on the Audi on the right-hand side, the all-gold Audi R8. Very interested to see what Sean Thong can do right at the start. Watch out for the Bentleys, and watch out for the number 37, the all-red and yellow Ferraris. We come round. Are we going racing straight from the get-go? Watch those lights in the middle of the screen, and we'll find out. And they stay on. And they now go out. Away we go then. Out go the lights, and we are racing at Buriram.
Look at the Lamborghini up the inside.
Whoa, great start by the Lamborghini. Somehow he makes it through, but he does send Adelaide Fong wide in the Bentley. He recovers well, and down the long straight they go for the first time down to turn 2. There's a little kick here, but it's flat out through here, Steve, and then hard on the anchors into turn 2.
Yeah, it certainly is. About braking at the 90-metre mark there, 240 k's an hour, this 180-degree bend. It's a very wide track and plenty of overtaking opportunity, and the times have been so close throughout qualifying that this should be a cracker of a race.
Got a quick glimpse of number 98, Sugden. Great to see, the former Asian champion. Tim Sugden in the Porsche, in the mix there, just going slightly wide, and the field starting to spread out, going through turn 4, very fast through there, but it is Carlo Van Dam of Holland who leads the way at the moment. He and Biron Bhakti, the Thai favourite, will be looking to make hay here in front of this partisan Thai crowd.
Yeah, it's good to see Carlo Van Dam out front, and he's had a little bit of experience around here. He's actually raced one of the TCR cars here earlier on in the month.
It's a good effect.
Yeah, it's a very good effect. He had a couple of wins, but it's paid off for him because he knows this track inside out now, and he leads this hour-long race already.
We were talking about tyre denigration throughout this race, and actually, according to Richard Lyons, the grip here is excellent, but also the tyres last throughout the race. So we're expecting fast times throughout.
Yeah, the time shouldn't deviate from around the 33, 34. Of course, it's probably going to be a bit slower than last year due to the fact of the very high track temperatures. So probably not quite as much grip as when we were here in October last year. But nevertheless, close racing.
Yeah, you make a good point. Duncan Tappy, in fact, for Absolute Bentley Racing, the Continental GT3 doing a 132.4 last year, 133.2 this time by Van Dam. Field starting to spread out, not a brilliant start by Thong, down in third place, and the Bentley got through. So watch out for Adley Fong, and disappointment for Adley last time out in Korea. And know that they really want to make something out of this. Sean Fong and Marchi Lee 5th in the championship after Korea, but of course it's being led by Venter and Sauer. Sauer away on Le Mans duty, as is Mok Wen Sung, the former multiple champion of Asia from Singapore, and really delighted to be racing against the very best in the world.
Lap record at this circuit, 33.6, set by Adley Fong last year, so he certainly knows how to set a fast lap around this circuit as he sits in behind Carlo Van Dam at the moment.
Now, as we've said before, you have two steps. Slight mistake there by Thong as he goes wide.
Marchi Lee as well. There's Marchi Lee. That's Sean Thong in the car at the moment, of course, though. And that Audi has really picked its game up from last time out in Korea, Jonathan. It's really good to see that Audi is starting to come to grips with that new R8 and putting it towards the front of the pack.
Interestingly enough, no major incidents. The Ferrari going through there. That's Rizzo getting up a place. And the number 9 looking racy, that's Duncan Tappy.
Yeah, well, if anybody knows how to win around here, it's Duncan Tappy. He won here last year, and I'm sure that he's looking to make his way through the pack up to Van Dam in the front. Van Dam with a 36.6 last time round.
Our champion struggling somewhat. A little further down the field than he normally would expect, and there he is in 9th position. Excuse me, in 10th position. It's Young in 9th position, just ahead as the gentlemen drivers are effectively waiting for their moment into the car for the second stint. And we'll wait for that pit window to open. It opens at about 25 minutes into the race. And then we have about 10 minutes for them to shuttle through and decide where they're going to come out and who will lead that second stint. And that's the beauty of this sprint stroke endurance racing.
There's the Interrush Porsche as well, Richard Lyons, and that air-conditioned...
Good bright start, actually.
Yeah, the air-conditioned helmet that he was talking about must be working because he's probably further up in the race than he thought he might be.
Slight mistake there by Thong. But yeah, it's been disappointing. In fact, it's a brand new Porsche, remember, and I think it's still a little bit disappointed, certainly talking to Frank Yu and to Richard, about the balance of performance for this particular race. And obviously, they'll hope it'll improve for them anyway. But I think the organisers have done a sterling job of getting it exactly right. It's a really tricky art, isn't it?
Well, I mean, when you think about it, Richard Lyons was leading the race before he got taken out in Korea.
Good
so
point.
Pretty hard to change that car at this stage in the championship. Of course, it gets looked at after the end of this race weekend, and things may change next time out. But the cards are dealt, and the guys have to race the cars with what they've got at the moment.
5 minutes gone then in this 1 hour race. This is round 3 of the 2016 GT Asia Series. We welcome you where you're watching it around the world and on the internet. And welcome viewers from Europe and the USA tuning in to watch some of their colleagues and friends. And in fact, busy time off for a few of the drivers, including Carlo Van Dam, racing at the Nürburgring. Alex Young as well for Audi, Marchi Lee, and doing the 24 hours around the Nordschleife.
Yeah, I think Van Dam also had a class win there as well, so he's definitely got a lot of miles under his belt since Korea, which explains, the good form he's in at the moment.
Well, we asked about the heat. It's funny, we were talking to David Arizo, and it is hot out there, and definitely hot in the cockpit. But he's saying, look, the truth of the matter is a 30-minute sprint. You have to be not worth your salt if you couldn't. And there's the famous Peter Collins, former Formula One team manager for Team Motors, now a driver coach, and he's looking after young Fabian Hambrecht, and he's looked after some of the best on the way up. Everywhere I seem to go, Peter sort of pops out. I've seen him in New Zealand looking after young drivers, and now here in Asia. But he is one of the stalwarts of motor racing over the last 30 years, and now his management company looking after the next future stars of racing.
And it just goes to show you, Jonathan, how important it is, this Asian series now, when you get guys like that coming to the track and all these young up-and-coming drivers making a name for themselves here in Asia. It just shows you that this is definitely cutting-edge racing.
It's the beauty of where sports cars and where GT cars racing now is, because it is now an option for youngsters to come through. There's so few seats in single-seaters and GP2 and GP3, and of course Formula One, it's almost an impossibility. And you only have to look down our own grid here to see somebody like Adley Fong, who has been all the way to the top of Formula One himself, a reserve driver. Alex Young, of course, has been there, done that, got the T-shirt for Minardi.
We need to keep an eye on the number 9 car of Duncan Tappy out there at the moment, because he's just set the fastest lap of the race, a 35.6. So he is actually starting to close down the gap now with plenty of time to go to Van Dam out in front.
So the field's starting to spread out now. We're starting to see a little bit of the form guide, as you say. No surprise for me to see Duncan Tappy making his way, and an experienced driver coming in, incidentally, for Andrew Palmer, and we wish him well. Remember the American that made such a great and bright start for Bentley at Korea. Well, sadly, he was involved in an accident at Lime Rock in the United States a couple of weeks ago, and he remains in hospital to this day. So we welcome his support and his family support, and all the drivers here wishing him well and hoping he'll be back on the grid here in GT Asia ASAP.
There's the Rizzo car, of course, the beautifully painted Chinese entry.
You were asking about the difference between the 458 and the new car, and actually Davide's saying actually 458 was probably just a little bit quicker, but the aerodynamics on this car,
yeah,
so
absolutely. Yeah, this new 488, and you can just see the downforce there on that rear wing. We just saw it shaking around as it went down the straight, doing its job there. Definitely this car he can carry through turn 4. Oh, we've got a drive-through penalty.
And it's Liberati and Amici in trouble again. The Italian job has gone sideways. Car 55, breach of start procedure. You know what that might be?
I'll tell you what it is, Jonathan. What it is if you think back to the start, he didn't go through the middle of the pit boxes.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, he was out of the pit start boxes where the cars have to start. So he was out of line at the start procedure.
Sort of surged down the inside into the middle of the pack, and it could have been one of two things. It might have been an overzealous start at the turn 1. And maybe, because you remember, he caused Adley Fong to go very wide in the Bentley, and that might be one reason. Or, as you say, something they were talking about in the driver's briefing, which is remaining in line.
There was a massive talk about it in the driver's briefing, and it came down to the end. You must pass your grid position with all wheels inside. Everybody did it except for him. He did, or somebody said in that meeting earlier on the weekend, that it was very difficult for the guys in the Lamborghini in the lower cars to see over the Bentley.
Darryl Young had a concern.
That's right. Well, the young Italians have forgotten that, so now they're going to pay with a drive-through penalty. Let's hope they learn from that.
So, drama indeed, as the young Italians, and if you saw the coverage in Korea, they were in trouble there. Liberati and Amici getting into crashes and all sorts of shenanigans, and they were actually given a bit of a telling off by their bosses back home in Italy after that, but in trouble again. That's racing, and they are youngsters, and they certainly have the experience. Remember, in the form of Liberati, he's the current champion in Asia for the Lamborghini Trofeo series. So he's no mug. He might be a youngster, but he's no mug for sure.
There's the Venter car, Jonathan Venter, in there at the moment, and we've heard that they're probably starting on used tyres because they've got to spend 36 seconds in the pits longer than anybody else. So they're basically trying to get points in this one. Best they can, and have a couple of new sets of tyres for tomorrow, Jonathan.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Certainly Audi have moved forward. The balance of performance helping them a little bit of weight taken off them. In fact, a lot of weight taken off
40 kilograms taken off the Audi this weekend. And
that's a lot.
It is a lot, but it's made a massive difference. And I mean, you can see there, I mean, the car that was leading last time out, the Audi can now race with it. So, definitely a big help for Audi, and it's evened things up.
So then, just over 10 minutes gone. Van Dam leads the way from Fong. The gap, 1.3 seconds, but you can see it on track. Everyone patiently watching for their chance, including that man, Marchi Lee, one of the most electric drivers here in Asia, has been for some time. There's his car out on track, his teammate at the wheel, and expect a big firework display from Marchi Lee here in Thailand. You can imagine a circuit like this is just how he likes it. Marchi, we're talking about the driver's briefing, was the first to ask, what are the track limits here? Where can I go over them?
Absolutely. And you know what? that whole Audi team down there, I think that they can sniff a bit of a podium coming on this weekend. I mean, they've been serious. They've been doing a lot of laps in practice, putting a lot of good form in and a lot of race miles. And I think that it's going to pay off for them in the long run, especially when Marchi Lee gets in the car later today.
Just to remind you, we saw the championship standings at the beginning of the race, but I'll remind you again, Venter and Sauer lead the way for Bentley at the moment. Then it's Anthony Liu and his teammate Davide Rizzo at the wheel at the moment. Rizzo, the Italian now living in Shanghai. Then Biron Bhakti, the top Thai driver, Piti Biron Bhakti, is in 5th place with Carlo Van Dam and Sean Thong, and Marchi Lee also equal on points with them on 19. It's early days. Liberati and Amici were a little further down, and they needed this race weekend to go well. But sadly, they've been in breach of the start procedure. That's the official line already, and they are in trouble. Here's our champion, Daryl O'Young.
He's being followed very closely by the Group M Racing Porsche GT3R of Tim Sugden and George Richardson here this weekend. Of course, George Richardson taking over from Philip Ma, who's not here this weekend, but they've really picked the game up with the Group M car. And if you look at them, they're right on the back wheels at the moment of the championship winner from last year. So a lot of work there and a lot of development has gone into Tim Sugden and the crew down there, and they're definitely coming forward in this championship.
It's good to see Tim back, and it's been a few years since he's actually been at the sharp end of a racing wheel. He's done a lot of track days, and in fact he's been helping train young drivers coming through. And in fact, his teammate this weekend is one of those drivers.
And another one is Alex Au driving in the Audi team. So there's a few different drivers that have had his wisdom bestowed upon them here this weekend.
Now, those of you familiar with GT will recognise the VLT colours that Daryl O'Young is running, and you'll also recognise the famous Group M colours too. But just to explain, Daryl O'Young, Aston Martin last year, of course, as was Frank Yu. They swapped to Porsche. No surprise for me, though, because Daryl O'Young has pretty much grown up in a Porsche. And in Hong Kong terms, he's known. And the lights flashing on the Ferrari to let the Bentley know that he's coming through. Rizzo on the move. So just for the record, a change, if you like. We're expecting Aston Martin to join the championship later in the year, but right now not on track. And it's Porsche that the VLT colours are flown in. The VLT colours, of course, in Hong Kong.
There's Davide Rizzo trying to find his way through. Of course, sits in 3rd position at the moment behind the number 7 car with Adderley Fong at the wheel. And Rizzo is been fairly confident all weekend. When we did speak with him earlier on the weekend, it was interesting to find out the way that he drives the car. He says that he drives with a little bit in reserve so that he can actually hand the car over to his fellow driver, of course, and hand the car over in a very good condition.
To be honest, he was describing the essence of this kind of racing. In professional racing purely, you drive the car as hard and fast as you possibly can, and you don't really care how you drive it because you're professionals and you drive it. You're all under the cosh. You're all working for a job. Here, you're working as a team.
Basically, yeah, if you're not familiar with this GT3 racing, what it is in essence is you have a pro driver and an amateur driver together, and the amateur driver is normally the guy that owns the car. So, Rizzo, he's had a spin or a run off in the braking area.
He's at turn 1. He's actually in the exit of pit lane there. So I think he's either out-braked himself or done something. Here's having a look.
Easy to do there.
He's spun backwards, yeah.
He's spun.
Well, luckily, as you can see, no damage to that beautiful 488, but sadly, Rizzo in a bit of spin at the moment. There you go, he's back to it.
I don't think he was telling us the truth. He is trying, isn't he?
Yeah, and he's now behind our current champion, Daryl O'Young, in the Porsche. So work to do for the Ferrari. And Anthony Liu is going to have an almighty stint now. We're getting closer to that window. The window will open at 14:53, so we're about 8 minutes away from that.
Duncan Tappy at the moment is 2.9 seconds off the lead. He was 3.5 a couple of laps ago, so he's just pulling the lead back by a couple of tenths every lap at the moment, Jonathan.
And in fact, those top 4, Tappy in 4th position, all in the 135s. Tappy last time out at 135.4. Well, that's his best lap, I should say. But only the top 4 getting just under the 136 mark. We go back with the leader in car 12, Van Dam in the Ferrari. The Singer Motorsport team leading the way here.
Yeah, Van Dam has really not put a foot wrong at the moment, has he? Adley Fong is doing a great job as well, just to sit behind him. But now this man, Rizzo, has got a lot of work on his hands to try and get past Daryl O'Young, because Daryl O'Young is certainly not hanging around in that VLT
Everything he told us
Porsche.
earlier is going to go out the window now, because he's going to rag the heck out of this car to get it to where it needs to be.
Absolutely, he really does need to get it back here. I mean, they had a really good chance of getting on the podium here, and he's going up the inside. He's through.
Good pass, nicely done by the Italian, and he goes through on Daryl O'Young. And that was nicely done. We looked at the track earlier this weekend, Steve, and it really is. It's a very exciting corner, especially turn 4, and especially some of the sweep backs, the S's there just before the last straight.
This is my favourite corner. Yeah. It's absolutely flat out, 220 k's an hour. And when you stand on the inside of the track there, here's another look at the overtaking manoeuvre. He's gone, and you can just see the front moving around a little bit, but he's nipped it in nicely. Left the Porsche with nowhere to go, and it made a nice clean move. So a good move there by Davide Rizzo after an average move earlier on in the race.
Yeah, there's Anthony Liu, his teammate, getting ready for his stint, which will be in a few minutes' time. He's not suited quite yet, just yet. And yeah, this track, a Herman Tilke designed circuit, as though almost every new modern circuit is. And that's why you see those classic overtaking after a long straight places. And there you see now the Audi starting to flash the lights. Richard Lyons will be all too familiar. And not intimidated at all as they cross the line and pass our commentary position. We are high above this famous grandstand here at Buriram, and it's a fantastic facility. I can't go on enough about it. It really is. It's wonderful. It's a great viewing facility. We can see the whole track from where we are. You're getting the benefit of these fantastic TV pictures. We are live here in Thailand and around the world as now the Bentley starts to get racy too. It's Van Dam, Fong, Tappy and Lyons. That's your top 4.
Yeah, you can just see there is, of course, the Audi behind, just trying to find a way through. But I wouldn't want to be sitting behind Richard Lyons, because he's definitely one of the most talented guys out there, and he certainly knows how to push a Porsche around.
No question about it. And we get ready now for that pit stop, and he's doing everything in his power, Lyons, to hang on right through the fast place. There's Frank Yu.
Of course, he'll be getting ready to get in the car any minute. The pit stop window is about to open at local time 2:53, so another 5 or so minutes, and the other drivers will be getting ready to put their helmets on and get in the car. Of course, if you're going fast like Van Dam is, he might stay out until the last possible minute and do that pit stop later in the race.
Slight mistake by Lyons there, and that's given the chance for the Audi to make his move, and he does so. Nicely done by Sean Thong, and yeah. Made that decide. Well, he saw the mistake by Lyons. He just went a little bit, just got out of shape slightly into the right-hander, and Thong thought, right, okay, I got this, and exactly what he did.
Yeah.
Here's another look. See, look, he's offline there slightly.
Yeah, slight slide there, which allows, of course, the lighter Audi nips up the inside. Richard Lyons tries to turn in, but he's blocked past. Nothing you can do about that. The pass is done. It's a clean pass. There's Marchie Lee starting to do his suit up. Won't be long, and he'll be in. Oh, hits the curb.
So, an exciting first stint. 40 minutes to go in the first of 2 races this weekend here in GT Asia 2016. Roaring around the Asian tracks. We've already been to Korea. Buriram this weekend. Okayama next. We head to Japan and the Okayama circuit, followed by Fuji, the great Fuji circuit, also in Japan, and then in August it's Shanghai, and another track in October, the brand new Zhejiang circuit. All looking forward to going there.
And just starting to pull away now is Thong in the number 5 Audi R8, really starting to pull. Just see in the braking area, Richard Lyons in the Porsche is closing up a little bit, but the Audi now starting to make some ground, and Jonathan Venter as well now is getting onto the back of the Porsche of Richard Lyons. So Venter is starting to come to grips with his car. 36.1 for him last time round.
I was about to say, he's a lot quicker than the man in front of him at the moment, and it's not surprising that he's all over the back of Lyons, struggling somewhat at the moment.
Looks like Lyons has lost a little bit of rear grip compared to some of the other competitors out there. Perhaps the balance of the car is not quite to his liking.
Was it not a problem also in Korea for them?
Well, we don't know, because we only saw him get halfway through the race.
But in qualifying, they did have some issues, if you like.
They certainly did, but they had great race pace, and if they hadn't gotten taken out by the Lamborghini Huracan, you know, that car probably could have won at least one of the races there that weekend, Jonathan.
Also, good battle here in the GT Cup. Budisai and Birambakti. Got it, Birambakti. And three cousins racing. Vadavud also racing this weekend with Tin Sritrai, who's going to be doing double duty. In fact, she tried down in 14th position.
Oh, no!
Out goes Alex Young's car. That's car number 6 of out. And out it goes, and Young will not get a chance to get to the wheel.
Yeah, I think he's got some sort of mechanical problem. Obviously, he's being pushed back into the pits now. They have had a mechanical problem this weekend.
They had a gearbox overnight.
They had a pinion flown in from Germany to put into the car, but Alex hasn't been his usual happy self, has he? So let's hope they can get that car right for tomorrow.
It was Alex at the wheel, in fact.
Yes.
And maybe.
No, they're out of this race. There's not much they can do about that.
Trying to see my helmet speak, see what Alex is saying there.
Well, there's no frantic work around the car. That's the day done for those boys. We'll have to wait and head down there afterwards, and I might let you ask Alex Young what the story is.
Fastest man on the track, Davide Rizzo at 1:35.3, but the man leading the way in another Ferrari is this man. And Rizzo, of course, has already spun it once. Van Dam heading towards the pit window here. Round 3 of the series. Carlo Van Dam of Holland.
Rizzo will not be happy because he's basically just 4 seconds off of the lead at the moment. He's the fastest man on track. I reckon he probably would have been leading this race if it wasn't for that spin he had earlier on.
It's going to be an interesting battle, this. As you can see, the Bentley's definitely touching distance of the leader, and I'm sure the Ferrari would have wanted to put more distance if he could between them. As we wait, it's getting tense now because these pit stops are going to seem agonizingly long for those with the extra penalties from their success in Korea.
Carlo Van Dam can't do a much better job than he's doing. I mean, the fastest lap of the race he's done is a 35.525. The last lap was a 35.53. So he is just so consistent, incredibly smooth, and it goes down to what we were talking about earlier on about as the fuel tank drops. I think Richard Lyons told us this, that as the fuel tank drops and the tyre degradation comes in, the two make up for each other, and you can just maintain perfect lap times around here due to the surface and the grip levels of this Herman Tilke designed circuit.
So then, we're getting down to that pit stop. Di Charayon, the young Thai driver, in his own battle at the back of this field, currently in 12th position, having moved up, given we've had one exit from the race already. But he's in his own battle with Birambakti and Kusiri.
Yeah, he's having a good battle there with Kusiri in the Ferrari, isn't he? So he's definitely, he might be from Thailand, but he's definitely a great driver.
Well, here's a familiar scene: Tim Sugden and Darrell Young, both in Porsches, having raced each other many a year, both former Carrera champions.
Yeah, I've got to say that Sugden has really lifted his game this weekend. He's, last time out they were virtually nowhere. Probably don't have the same resources as Darrell Young's team, the Craft Bamboo team, but they're certainly driving well here
Well,
today.
it was a baptism of fire. Brand new car, brand new situation, and like you say, Tim, a long time out of the seat, and so very hard to come into career as they did.
I think 2011 was the last time he drove a race car.
Pretty impressive when you think about it. Didn't take him long to get up to speed. He's a great character from Northern England. Darrell Young, of course, the Hong Kong hero.
Yeah, Darrell Young. I mean, that team there, the Craft Bamboo team, is working very closely with Porsche. We spoke with Frankie Yu earlier on the Interrush side of the Craft Bamboo team, and they are working very closely with Porsche. Camera's got to move out the way. We're getting ready for our first pit stops. That's Fabian Hamprecht. He can't wait to get in the car.
Yeah, I was talking to Fabian. He's trying to get a commercial license, Fabian. He's only 21.
What, boat license?
No, car. He wants to
car license.
No. Airplanes. He's going to be a DHL pilot.
I don't know if I'd want to fly home with him on a Sunday night after.
If he was taking the freight of the cars and all the luggage, you would. I think that's actually the sort of magic behind all this. I think Bentley have thought themselves, we can ship ourselves cheaply with our driver.
Venter's in.
Venter comes in then. Venter leading the championship at the moment. This pit stop's got to go well. They come under our commentary position, and we'll keep an eye as they go into. And of course, Bentley got A long time to wait, Steve, because they're going to be in for a while now.
121 seconds is the amount of time they've got to wait. It's an 85-second compulsory pit stop, and they've got a 24-second accumulated compensation time. And plus, they get to wait another 12 seconds because they're a silver pairing.
Well, Fong, meanwhile, is coming through turn 4. It's got a little bit of traffic, but there is Carlo Van Dam leading the way.
Now, just because Van Dam is out in front and inch perfect at the moment, of course, the pit stop period, anything can go wrong. He's got to hand over to Biren Bhakti, and you know, like, the race is not won just yet because it's going to be a whole new race in the next half an hour.
Yeah, but these laps, while other cars are stationary, are very important too. You'll often see a driver put their fastest lap in when the competition starts to come in, and certainly, as we heard from Richard Lyons, there's definitely an opportunity, given that the tyres seem to stay optimal for a lot of the race here. It's not bad on tyres, this particular track, so expect some fast times. Last time out, Van Dam, a 1:35.5. He's been pretty consistent throughout this race. Comes on to the main straight again, can't pass our commentary position, nice and smoothly done it. Bentley slightly wide, but okay.
That's Disher on, looks like he's on his way into the pits as well now.
So the long wait waits for the Bentley of Venter as they will swap over. And Hambrecht, the young German, the hot shoe. There he is. It seems like an endless eternity for the Bentley. Great shot, that, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And away they go.
Love the sound of that car.
Fabian Hambrecht has already been driving for Bentley for the last 2 years, so we're not too worried about him being at all unfamiliar with how the Bentley operates.
That's Tin Shi Try getting out of the car, and
busy boy this weekend.
Certainly is. Biren Bhakti getting in. Change of tyres on that machine. There goes the number 8 with Hambrecht, his first time here in Asia.
Yeah, really looking forward to it. I asked him if he would wear a cool seat, given it's probably the hardest race. No, he said, I'll be fine. He said, my last stint after qualifying didn't bother him.
Well, he's only 19 years old, isn't he? A little bit of cloud cover today as well, so perhaps the temperatures are down compared to what we had yesterday. That could help with the lap times and also certainly the comfort of the drivers.
Hambrecht incidentally 7th at Nürburgring, 24-hour race just a couple of weeks ago. Van Dam continues to dominate this race. 17 laps gone and halfway through this race now, 31 minutes. He will be coming in for a pit stop fairly soon, but not this lap. And the Bentleys will chase him again. Fong, Tappy, Fong and Lee. Lyons, the only drama story, Davide Rizzo spinning the car. And sadly, more problems for the Ao Jung Audi, already out of proceedings.
Duncan Tappy's done a good job. He's closed right up to the back now of Adderley Fong as they approach the pit stop window. The gap now is 2.2 seconds to Carlo Van Dam, so he's been consistently the fastest man on track at the moment over the last 3 or 4 laps. Is Duncan Tappy using all the track and a little bit more there, Jonathan?
Well, I'm going to kind of keep a crane out of the window to see who's coming in next, and the track fairly clear at the moment. Going through the mid part of the track, in comes the Group M car, and in will go Richardson, George Richardson, in his first stint in Asia. But the young 24-year-old was bubbling, quite literally, as he spoke to us yesterday about the opportunity both to race with Tim and also to race here in Asia.
Absolutely, he's had a lot to do with Tim. He's spent a lot of time with Tim. Tim's really guided his career and in fact, got him this drive. So it's good to see that he's being able to show what he can do to his teacher and the guy that taught him how to race cars.
And he's raced all over the world. He's raced in America. He's raced in Peru, of all places.
Yeah.
An endurance race, he was telling us, in a Hyundai.
Yeah, a 6-hour endurance race in a Hyundai. I know where I'd rather be, and it'd be here in a Group M Porsche.
Yeah, that's very true. So again, another lap completed. The window for that pit stop remains open, but not for long. And as expected, Van Dam gets the most out of his own stint, the top driver in this Singer team.
He's just gone through at another 1:35.5. That is so consistent. Every lap is a 1:35.5 from that man leading the race. The Bentleys are also doing a good job as well. 35.6 and a 35.5 for Duncan Tappy. Duncan Tappy, in fact, fastest lap of the race, a 35.1.
Here comes Rizzo in the Ferrari 488 for BBT. As you can see in the background, the all-gold Audi already up on the stilts, the famous stilts, to get the tyres on, give them a little bit more leeway. Not everybody uses them.
Anthony Liu will be getting into the car now. One of the luckier teams with the air conditioning fitted inside the car.
I have to say, to me, Anthony Liu is one of the great stories of this series. Like you said, and you have said earlier, this is a series where you have professionals and amateurs, or a combination of both. And you know, we'll talk about the sort of platinum versus bronze versus silver combinations, because getting that right combination can be the advantage. But Anthony Liu's somewhat of an enigma in many ways, because he is an amateur driver, but you wouldn't think so. Davide Rizzo was one of the first to point it out.
Absolutely, especially when you look at qualifying. He qualified a 10th quicker than Davide Rizzo for race 4 here at Buriram Circuit. So he certainly knows how to drive a car, and he's come on in the last couple of years and pretty much...
Whoa!
That's a big off for Daryl O'Young.
Well, he held it all together, and that is the beauty of this circuit. You can make a mistake like that, but hold it all together, and he's done so.
Yeah, you can get away with that every now and then, especially if it's a mistake. But if you do that continually, run off the track, you will be penalised.
They're going to get you. Anthony Liu then heads out of the pits.
It's a beautiful car, that 488 twin-turbo Ferrari.
Yeah, I was wondering how the humidity would affect the turbo, but hasn't seemed to be to any detriment. Not that humid, but it's very hot.
Well, these cars have developed quite a bit in the last few years, these GT3 cars. Sure, a few years ago there was a lot of problems with turbos and overheating and stuff like that, but the current crop of cars, the manufacturers are really working hard to get these factory-produced cars in the right, build them in the right way to suit all conditions, especially these Asian conditions, because this is a great place to test the reliability of any car.
And in fact, it's something that the manufacturers are definitely, I was talking to Bentley about this, using this Asian series and just racing generally in Asia for. It's a great breeding ground and a great place to test stuff in these hot and very extreme conditions.
We heard that from Frank Yu just a few minutes before this race. He was saying that they virtually are the #1 Porsche team in the world at the moment, the Craft Bamboo team. 3-year deal for them with Porsche.
The leader is about to come in. He heads down to the last corner and into the pit lane he comes. Carlo Van Dam.
He's followed by Duncan Tapia as well. Duncan Tapia is coming into the pits behind him.
All systems go then. Van Dam and Biron Bhakti, and wouldn't it be a story for this big Thai crowd to cheer on Biron Bhakti if he can get and continue that stint? There's a good chance that they can win this race, especially as the Bentleys have had to spend a lot of time in the pits. Obviously they had a good weekend in Korea, did Van Dam, but not as good as the Bentleys.
New tyres going on. Looks like they're roaded, a set of roaded tyres going on to the...
Explain what that means.
Well, what it means is in practice they've gone and done 1 or 2 laps on the tyre. It won't have the outright grip for 1 or 2 laps, but if you go out, do 1 or 2 laps, come in and take the tyre off, let it cool down, then put it on, it can be faster for a much more consistent period of time. So that's what they're doing for Biron Bhakti, putting a set of roaded tyres on so it can be more consistent throughout the race.
In comes Daryl O'Young into the pit. So we have shuttled through most of the pit stops now, and everybody back on track with their second drivers or their second stint drivers. And in this case, we are looking at the BBT team of Anthony Liu, who is without doubt one of the most exciting drivers in this series, what the series has produced in the last few years.
George Richardson also there just behind him and doing a great job to be sitting there at the moment. His first racing laps of this circuit, his out lap was the 37.6, so he's already just a second off of the fastest lap set by Tim Sugden in the same car.
And away goes Biron Bhakti out of the pit lane and down that long straight down towards turn 2.
Critical part of the race, although it's hot, Jonathan, the drivers have to remember that these tyres need to warm up at least for 1 lap. Until they can really get stuck into it. You do not want to make a mistake, and this is the part of the race where it's easy to do.
I was about to say, yeah, in a weird way, this outlap, when the adrenaline's flowing and you're just getting back into the rhythm, and for the first time in the car, it's the middle of a race.
It's the middle of the race, and what happens is you get sucked in because you get another car go past you that's already got warm tyres, and you think, oh, okay, but you forget. So that's the difficult part of the race, and to hold together. Look, both of the Bentleys still running together on track at the moment.
Trying to push each other along at the moment.
Of course, Andrew Kim in the number 7 car now.
And it's car 12, 9, 88, 91, all on that outlook. And that's Bill Bakti, Tappy. And Vutikon will be now at the wheel. And Frank Yu will be at the wheel of the number 88. And Bill Bakti. Pushing hard in this opening stint. We look at the car, number 7.
That's Andrew Kim, of course, with Vudi in for a sec behind him.
Yeah, looking to see what Vutikon can do here. He's got a lot of experience, not necessarily at this track. Whoa, a big mistake there by the number 7. Kim actually had a problem at that corner in practice on Friday. Had a rear brake problem and it spun him round and into the tyre wall. No real damage done to the car.
No, he got lucky. He got lucky because there was because of the big runoff here. He didn't actually quite reach the tyre wall. But when you go and stand on the track braking down into there, they're heading into that corner at over 200 k's now. There's the lights flashing. He's pulling up. He's in the spot for an overtake up the inside. He's nipping up the inside. He's done it, Jonathan.
Nice. Well, or has he?
He has.
Yes. Just.
Inside line. He's through.
So then, Vutikon, the very popular driver, 42-year-old, goes through. It's Carrera Cup Class B man. Bags of experience.
Of course, Marchie Lee is out on the track now. He's, one of the fastest guys out there. He's been around a lot, hasn't he? He's done a lot of racing, Marchie Lee, in that beautiful R8. And he was one guy that I was very impressed with in practice, the amount of laps that he was putting in.
Here's that overtake again. Back with the Audi then. Marchie Lee of Hong Kong. 2 great drivers from Hong Kong, in Darrell Young and Marchie Lee. They've had very different paths, in fact, but they've met on many occasions, though. Places like Macau and obviously here in GT racing and a Carrera Cup. Marchie, as you say, races in the R8s. He's raced in single-seaters coming through the ranks over the years. Very successful single-seater racer, like a lot of youngsters starting out.
There's Marchie Lee.
He's past number 88,
yep,
Frank Yu.
Of course, Frank Yu. Just up the inside there off the end of the straight. But yeah, this is an interesting battle with Andrew Kim. Probably struggling just a little bit to get used to the Bentley here at this circuit. As Vutikon passes him and starts to pull away, we'll keep an eye on the lap times, but I think that Vutikon seems to have been more consistent this weekend.
Now, just to catch you up, effectively, with 23 laps gone and now everybody's shuttling through, the pit window is now closed. We have a 9-second gap between Biron Bakti and Vutikon. 2 ties go to war.
Should make a song about that.
They should. Get Frankie Goes to Hollywood to sing it.
There's that overtaking manoeuvre that we've just seen with the Vutikon just up the inside of Andrew Kim. Nice manoeuvre. No paint scrubbed off there, which Bentley will be happy to see. There's Adderley Fong, of course, sits in 3rd position in the race at the moment.
Great character.
He is a great character. You ask him a question and he
tells you the answer. Which is rare.
It is in this game.
Keep me right when you give me the answer. Adderley Fong, different story. Well, we have got a good battle on here. As I mentioned, we've got the 2 ties going to war, 9 seconds apiece. And then we've got the Korean in 3rd position. Kim just down there, and he too is not far away.
There's Anthony Liu. He's made a move up the inside as well of the VLT car.
Yeah, I'm going to keep an eye on Liu's lap times because we know how quickly he can be. His last lap at 1:35.3 compared to those in front. That's not a bad pace at all. Meanwhile,
Bakti set a fantastic last lap of 35.5 by him as well. So that's a very impressive lap time
actually,
by Toy Biron Bakti to be able to do that. He's pulled a second on Vutikon in 2nd place at the moment in the number 9 Bentley.
Marchie Lee, 1:34. Of the weekend, this is round 3 and round 4 here at the Buriram circuit. Beautiful conditions, very hot, but great conditions for racing and great conditions for viewing as well.
Toy Biron Bakti at the wheel, of course, of the VLT GT3 Porsche.
Young done his stint. Pushing hard now, will the tie. Just behind for the A Motorsport team in the 911 GT3R car, slightly older. 3 classes in all, but all eyes obviously on the big GT3 class with the big boys in it.
And there's the gap from first to second and third. There's not much in that, and we should see any minute Marchie Lee just appear in the background there, the guy that is doing the fastest laps of this circuit.
The gap now 11 seconds to second place, Vutikorn.
And Vutikorn's just done a 35.237, the fastest lap that that car has done this weekend so far. So they are definitely on fire.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting finish this. Still an 18-minute race to go. Absolute Racing doing a really good job. 25 laps gone. And the Bentleys, line astern in second and third place, chasing down the Ferrari. And all the top marks here in this GT Asia Series.
Of course, that Ferrari leading, it's not the new 488, it's the 458, a couple of
good point.
last year's model, so it's the non-turboed 458 car. And we heard David Arizzo say he drove that car last year and said that it's definitely got a lot more engine, but less aero, so working really well here at the Buriram circuit.
So we're getting down the business end of the first race of the weekend of 2. Changes overnight, I'm sure, to the setups of these cars. We are potentially expecting thunderstorms. You never know. In the middle of summer in Asia, in the heart of Asia, here in northeast Thailand, it could come up quickly, and we are expecting, or it has been predicted, that we could get thunderstorms as the weekend goes on.
Vutikorn lapping at a low 36, and Andrew Kim at a 36.8, so pulls away by half a second that time round. 36 flat by Biram Bhakti last time through. So 12 seconds the gap now, Jonathan.
Yeah, it's gone up a little, and it's certainly manageable at the front. I get the feeling that that's something that Biram Bhakti can manage, and you've got to give credit to Carlo Van Dam. That was a brilliant first stint.
Yeah, it was inch perfect. He set the race up for Vutikorn and for Biram Bhakti, and it was, it's put him in a good position now where he can afford to lose nearly just under a second a lap, and he's still going to win this race. So he can afford to be a little bit conservative now. Of course, you don't want it to come down in case there's a safety car or anything like that.
This is the GTC leader going across the line again. And it's been a good race so far by Dirshkarion, another Thai driver.
It is when you consider that he's actually competing in this race alone. He hasn't got a co-driver. He's decided to do it on his own. So if anybody's going to be worn out by the end of this weekend,
it's a home race.
You've got to do as many laps as you can. Well, this man will certainly have worn a groove around this circuit. Still very smooth.
And just explain the difference, if you will. GTC, they're slightly older cars and more.
Well, the GT. Well, there's three.
There's
three classes. Yeah, there's 3 classes. I mean, what we've got here, this the Bentley, of course, is the latest cutting-edge GT3 car, which is based off of a road car, but changed to make it into a racing car. But still, its roots can be traced back to a road car. The GTM, of course, is the same sort of car, but it's up to 2013. So it's the same car, but up to 2013. Then you've got the GTC, which is a lot more production-based, smaller wheels, a lot less modifications, still very, very fast, less engine restrictors. They can be actually faster in a straight line in some cases, but they don't have the same sort of downforce and can't pull the same Gs as these GT3 cars. Of course, you can get up to 2 Gs G-force in one of these things, a lot less in the GTC car.
Yeah, 2 Gs doesn't sound much, but it's...
Well, if you've ever been...
Do it for an hour.
If you've ever been to one of the ride parks and been on one of those things and seen, I mean, 2 Gs is quite a bit of force.
Slight mistake there by Biram Bhakti. He's pushing on now. We look back at the leader, 12-second lead with just under 15 minutes to go. Good battle here.
Frank Hughes doing a good job, isn't he, at the moment in the Interrush Porsche, just sitting there with David Rizzo, the Rizzo car with Anthony Liu. Hughes hanging on.
Yeah, let's have a look at what Anthony did here. I think Anthony made a lunge, did he?
Yeah,
he came up quickly. I mean, Frank gave him plenty of room.
Yeah, he knew it was inevitable. I mean, the Rizzo car has been, and Liu car has been fast all weekend, and he is just starting to pull away from him at the moment. But Richard Yu and Lyons at the moment, they've been sort of complaining all weekend. They've been struggling, but they're sitting 5th in the race at the moment. So they're doing a pretty fine job.
You know, I know that Frank's kind of feeling it a little bit, but I was actually smiling inside anyway. I wasn't letting him show it, but watching him kind of get frustrated about BOP today, and knowing that he's not that, he's not on it, nor is Richard this weekend as much, in his opinion anyway, it just shows you how far he's come, because Frank Yu is without doubt one of the greatest stories of this series. He has come, he's an architect by trade. I mean, he has a real job. And he has just massively come forward as a racing driver over the years, and credit to the professionals involved here, because it's just incredible how these amateur drivers have come through and now compete within a second at times with these professional drivers, and hats off to them. And I love to see him complaining like every other good racing driver should when he's not as fast as he wants to be.
We are about to see a drive-through penalty. The reason for that, of course, is the number 8 car of Jonathan Venter and Fabian Hamprecht have breached the compulsory pit stop. Yes, they have.
You know what that'll be?
It'll be
rushing
time
to get out,
yes.
Yeah, and they didn't do the full number or exactly the right. It's been something that over the years in GT Asia has been an issue. You have to time yourself, and obviously there's an official time to it, but
well,
just slightly wrong.
They needed to stay for 121 seconds. If they stayed for 120, it's cost them a lot, because they've got to go and do another drive-through penalty, which is going to be worth about another minute. So not a good race for those youngsters.
Andrew Kim is putting the hurt on Vutikon as they cross the line again. As you can see, just over 10 minutes to go. Kim wants by.
He certainly does. He's certainly flashing those lights at the moment. He's back a little bit, but he's trying to put the pressure on. We saw that Kitasawa was good on the horn button, the flash button in Japan, wasn't he?
And I'll tell you why he wants to get by, because look who's coming. Marchie Lee in 4th position, just at a 1:34.4 again, a lot quicker than the man in front of him, is catching. And with 11 minutes to go, don't ever count out the Hong Kong driver. Back with the leader, Biron Bhakti. His gap, still 12 seconds.
Yeah, Biron Bhakti's in a very good position now. That's come down to under 11. There you go. Stop and hold penalty for car number 12 as well.
Well, I hope my eyes aren't deceiving, but are we really seeing the leader with a stop and go penalty?
Well, we'll just have to wait and get the official word on that. At the moment, we'll just keep watching them. They're out in front. If they have got that, their cars do have radio contact.
A breach of the compulsory pit stop for our leader. Drama indeed here in Thailand, as we are getting tied in knots in GT Asia, because the leader of this race has got a stop and hold penalty, a 3-second penalty. That will seem a lot longer.
You know what that means?
Bentley are going to win again.
No. Audi are coming. Look at the Audi in the background
You're
there.
Absolutely
Marchie
right.
Lee.
And we're in traffic.
We are in traffic, but right now the Duncan Tappy car, of course, with Vutikorn in it at the moment.
And Richard Lyons, Carlo Van Dam,
he's
watching
not happy.
on, not, and quite rightly so.
This is a win thrown out the window. Here he comes for that pit stop.
This is going to be agonising. It's only a 3-second stop. I say only.
It's a stop and go.
It's going to ruin everything.
It certainly is. It's off.
1, 2, 3. Well, away he goes. Was he there the full 3? I wonder. Doesn't matter. He's away, and they've lost the lead of this race. As you can see, the Bentleys go through. But here comes Audi at the inside. Marchie Lee goes through. He split the Bentleys right now, and with less than 10 minutes to go, Marchie Lee is literally on the march now for victory here in Thailand.
Yeah, he can sniff victory at the moment. 34.9 that time through for Anthony Liu is also on a march at the moment. He's also in the 34s and making his way forward at the moment. But Marchie Lee, here he goes. He's up the inside, down that big long back straight. He's in good position, and up the inside, under the braking area, and just outbrakes the Bentley, takes the inside line, and there's the leader in front of him right now.
So we're in for a battle now, and as you can see, the all gold.
Oh, we've got another problem.
Now, what's wrong with the number 91? That is not a scheduled pit stop
No,
at
that's
all.
got to be some sort of, maybe he's picked up something off of the track and punctured a wheel, but you definitely wouldn't stop with 9 minutes to go. Definitely got some sort of problem there on the 91 VLT car.
Bentley watches on. Jonathan Venter kind of disgusted by the whole proceedings, I think, and heads back to the pits because I think he can sense the inevitable.
Yeah, not a good weekend for him so far.
They cross the line again. 31 laps completed. The gap between Vutikorn and Lee down to nothing. Out comes the Porsche, and now down this long straight. Surely Marchi Lee will take the lead of this race.
He's close. He's in the slipstream. He's gone to the outside. That's not the place to do it.
Now goes to the inside. Will he outbreak the Bentley? He's looking
He's
for
through.
it. He is through. Marchi Lee now leads this race here at Buriram, and that was a classic overtake. And for the first time, Audi lead.
Yeah, he's definitely got big pace. He's a second a lap quicker than those the two Bentleys at the moment. And now we're going to see how tough the Bentleys want to take this and how they want to fight. He's tried to go up the outside, can't do it. Nip to the inside. Of course, carrying 40 kilograms less this weekend, and he's able just to outbreak that Bentley.
I think that was what they call in soccer a little bit of a fake move there. He faked to the outside to pull the Bentley across.
Absolutely.
And said, thank you, just give me more room on the inside.
Yep, and that worked beautifully for him. There goes the number 8 car after its stop-and-go penalty. A 1 second breach.
Yep.
Oh, no!
Whoa!
That's a spin.
Yeah, you can see the gravel coming out of the car. The all-new VLT Porsche. Feeling back to spins it out.
Definitely not a good race for the for Biren Bhakti this time out.
Now, Marchi Lee's got to be a little bit careful here. He's getting into traffic himself. Here's what happened. Ooh, yes, you can see. Yeah, ooh, almost hitting the tyre wall there, but just avoiding it.
Yeah, that's out of turn 4. He's really lucky to get away with that. It looks like he lost the front into the really fast left-hander. He's still not on track at the moment, is Biren Bhakti. He's got some sort of steering problem.
I think he's got a puncher, you know.
Yeah,
front right.
That front wheel doesn't look good. So
yeah, that's right in front of us at turn 5, and
there
he's
he
just
is.
pulling off. Yeah, look, see,
it's a puncture.
Puncture, definitely. Front right.
They,
so out he goes.
Yeah, whatever they changed last time out, they obviously something they didn't fix it.
Out of Biren Bhakti getting out of the way of Marchi Lee, or does he? Marchi's flashing the lights, and he does now. Biren Bhakti's here, and representing Thailand Ferrari.
The gap 1.5 seconds now between Thong and Tapi in second place. Lee and Vutikorn.
All smiles at the moment then for Thong and Lee as they count down the minutes in this first of 2 races this weekend. But it's Audi, the R8, leading the way, the resplendent all-gold Audi, and that's what they've been so far. The Bentleys ominous, the dark grey and black Bentleys ominous in the background as the sad, forlorn figure of the brand new Porsche. Number 9 trying to get back on track, but with that puncture, through goes the Phoenix Racing. There has been somewhat to Phoenix out of the ashes so far in this race anyway. Don't think we expected this to be as big in a performance as they put on. The Audi Hong Kong sponsored car crosses the line for another lap to go, or 2.
Well, you know, all through practice they've been putting in a lot of laps, Jonathan. A lot of laps on old tyres, and it looks like it's paid off. There's the VLT car, of course, the number 91 machine, and yeah, there's a puncture or something wrong with the. It's definitely a puncture, but maybe something else because they pulled in to try and fix it. They changed the wheels, and it's still
we saw
flat.
In Korea there was a slow puncture issue in one of the cars in Korea, and that could have been a similar case. It might not have been handling right. They come in, they check it, they don't see any obvious things, and then suddenly, boom, out it goes. Yeah,
maybe it was low. They should have, we'll have to find out what the outcome of that was later on at the end of this race. But with 5 minutes left to go, these boys will be bitter. They could have won this race, Jonathan.
So under 5 minutes to go. Let's remind ourselves of the situation here. Marchi Lee leads this race ahead of Vutikorn and the Bentley. Then Kim, and then Biren Bhakti in 4th position. Liu and Rizzo are in 5th. Liu and Lyons. Back comes the 91. He's got back into the pits, but it's not going to be really to any avail. And might send him out just to see how the car's set, because you can always have valuable track time. No, I think that is game over. Yep. And the VLT says, "Simon, let's stop and have a cup of VLT." it's tea time.
He doesn't want to get out, but unfortunately, it's the end of their weekend. But this man will be smiling in his helmet at the moment, won't he?
No question about it. It's been a good run.
Geez, he's drove brilliantly this whole weekend. He's been a quiet achiever. Marchi Lee
Well, I think they're going to be a potent force in this series. I mean, Marchie Lee has been kind of a sleeping tiger in many ways. You know, he's had a bit of bad luck. He hasn't really performed, in my opinion anyway, as well as I expected him to. But then again, the influx of the likes of the Richard Lyons and some of the great drivers we've had. I mean, you know, when we think about people like Tony Vielander and Jimmy Bruni coming here, you know, you know, these are the best drivers in the world. You know, so Marchie though has held his own wherever he's gone, and you know, this last couple of weeks racing himself in Europe against the very best at the Nürburgring. That ended in disappointment for them, so this will be a big fill-up for them to get a good result here. And as you can see, disappointment.
Biram Bakhti, of course, not happy with the race.
So the gap, just under 3 seconds to Vutikorn and Tapie. Tapie doing a very good first stint. And to be fair, Vutikorn doing nothing wrong at all. Vutikorn's last lap at 35.1, which is perfectly fine, but compared to the best lap anyway of Marchie Lee at 34.4, that is scintillatingly fast.
Yeah, it certainly
Lou,
is.
though, on the other hand, 34.8 himself, so Lou not far off that pace.
No, that's what I mean. Like, if they didn't have that spin, they would have been right up there, Jonathan. They had a spin and then a drive-through penalty, which has really ruined what could have been a good victory for them. But this man, in the V10, the new V10 Audi, of course, he'll have a smile on his face at the moment.
George Richardson, just ahead of the Bentley.
He's had a good weekend, hasn't he? He's come in, he certainly hasn't disgraced himself. I mean, that's the highest that we've seen that car so far in the championship. 8th position, that's a really good, solid result for Tim Sugden and George Richardson.
Yeah, and like you say, this is a project that came together last minute, both for Sugden and definitely for Richardson, literally coming out to Asia for the first time. 24-year-old from Manchester, in England.
I think he would have been happy if you told him that he'd be in front of the Bentley Continental at with a minute to go.
The lights flashing on the Bentley. Time running out then, less than 2 minutes to go in our first 60-minute race here at the Buriram circuit. Round 3 of the series. And it's been a sensational run by Audi. Dong and Lee leading this race. Marchie Lee at the wheel of the Phoenix Racing Asia team. 1:34.4 says it all. Fastest lap of the race. He'll get round and he'll do one more lap as the clock ticks down. Now he's just got to hold it all together and go steady in this last lap, but I think the lap times will drop off. And in fact, that last lap of 1:35.9, so he just kicked back a little bit. No need to make any heroes out of this last lap. He just wants to bring it home and bring it to victory.
Yeah, definitely just a few corners, 4.5 kilometres to go. Less than 4.5 kilometres now for Marchie Lee. He's got that handy lead. He doesn't want to make a mistake now. He doesn't want to get caught up with any back markers. He's just got to bring it home, as you say, Jonathan. He heads off into turn 3.
You know, we've been watching this battle between Hambrecht and Richardson. And Hambrecht right there, in fact, as I look out my window at the commentary booth, Marchie Lee quite rightly. But this is a good battle for the Bentley, and he's very close as they come through the S's. And I think on this last lap, we might see the Bentley make an attempt. But we're watching all eyes coming through turn 5 on Marchie Lee, just getting in, bending his way through traffic after some of the other GBC cars, and making sure he just tiptoes through and make sure that the blue flags are waving so that they see him.
He's slowed it right down now.
Now, where's that Bentley? That's the only change I can see happening now, and that will put Hambrecht and Venter, the championship leaders, going into this. The 9th position, 8th position will be nicer. Well, the clock's tick down now.
When you consider that the championship went down to less than a point at the last round last year, every point is important, especially for that number 8 car. They lead the championship at the moment, so if they can get another couple of points by passing George Richardson, that's what they need to do. Here he goes, Jonathan.
There's the checkered flag then, and across the line comes Marchie Lee. Long live the king, and the sign says it all. But the king here in Thailand, racing for today, is this man, Marchie Lee, and the team know it. The Hong Kong Audi does the business here. And Marchie Lee with that second stint, but a very good stint, I must say, by Dong. Let's not forget that. It's a 2-man effort, of course. Marchi definitely fastest on track, but Sean Fong doing a very, very good job in that first stint. We thought it was going to be the Carlo Van Dam demonstration for Thailand. Didn't turn out that way. Likewise for Duncan Tappy. Either man who won his first race in pole position here last year. But Audi, all smiles to them. And Alex Young didn't have a smile about himself, but he's happy for the team, quite rightly. And Phoenix, winners for the first time here in the series.
There'll be some celebrations tonight, won't there, Jonathan? I mean, what a great drive, and what a great team. Remember that these cars were brand new. They haven't seen the cars since Korea. They've been in containers and shipped here. So all the work that they've had to do on the cars, they've done just before the start of the weekend. No testing here. They've got in the car and worked well with it. Brand new machine, and they've come away with a race victory here in the first race today.
And now he's found the track limits. Marchi Lee celebrating then after what was a golden victory here at Biradam in Thailand. And here is confirmation of the results here from round 3. Dong and Lee then with victory by 4 seconds over the Bentleys of Tappy and Vutakorn. In second place, Fong and Kim in third. The Ferrari of Van Dam and Biram Bakhti, who led for so long, have to settle with 4th place. Rizzo and Liu likewise in 5th. Liberati and Amici, problems for them, having an infringement at the start. 7th is Lyons and Hughes. Sugden and Richardson in 8th position, holding off Venter and Habrecht, the German, the youngster coming in to replace Andrew Palmer in 9th position. And to round out the top 10, Birsham and then Shritrai, also of Thailand, and Baravud Biram Bakhti in 11th, and Kusuri and Biram Bakhti 12th. So lots of stories, lots of drama, and it seems that the clock has been the biggest story of the weekend so far anyway. And what I mean by that is those either being penalised and therefore having to spend more time against the clock in the pits, and in the case of the young Italians in the Lamborghini, an infringement at the start of the race. There's Marchi Lee, and I think we'll have a bit of a celebration, a bit of a smile. I can have a drink, he says.
He wants a drink. Look at him.
First thing he wants, I'll have a drink.
Yeah, just look at the sweat pouring off him at the moment.
Not surprising. Great result for he and his teammate.
I mean, what a turnaround from last time out. I mean, they performed well last time out, but to just get that emphatic victory, they didn't make any mistakes. The team worked well. They read the clock correctly, didn't make any mistakes on track, no spins, worked hard and took that victory. It was a really good drive.
Good result also, though, for Tappy and Vutakorn, because, of course, Vutakorn having to come together with Tappy for what was an unexpected drive together, given that Andrew Palmer couldn't make it here after a crash in the United States, and Tappy coming in a perfect replacement. He's also driving for McLaren, I may add. So it's been a while since he's been in the Bentley, but he knows exactly how to drive it.
Absolutely. I mean, he was a winner here last year in the Bentley.
So let's go down to Sean Henselwood. It looks as though we're going to get an interview with Marchi Lee, who has just taken victory in round 3 here at Buriram in Thailand. Let's head down to Sean. I think he's got Marchi in the melee of it all. But Marchi Lee wins round 3.
Incredible race. You're not really even sure whether you've won or placed second.
I have no idea. I just push. I didn't listen to any radio and just push like hell.
How was the car? It seemed to really have come on this round compared to...
Thanks my team, Phoenix Racing Asia. Thanks all the fellow in GmbH. Thanks Audi. And thanks me and my teammate. Thank you.
There you go. Perfect interview with Marchi Lee, that. Thanks me. I know what he means. But to be honest, great interview, because Marchi doesn't hold back. Says it like it is. Let's go back down to Sean as he has the R8.
Sean
teammate.
Tong, amazing opening stint. What was it like watching Marchi go through those final laps?
It's good to see our car have a great comeback, but I didn't actually have a really great stint. So I started second and dropped to 4th because I got some hot brakes issue, which cost me a field position at the right beginning. But at the end of my stint, I'm doing the same pace as the leader, so it's a bit unfortunate, but I'm really happy our team put it back together, and Marchi did a really great stint. I know it's really hot in the car, and he can barely talk and think now, but we are really happy and really pleased of our result.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Sean taking just the explanation for Marchie Lee's interview, but yeah, I mean, he says it wasn't a great stint, but I say it's an even greater stint given the fact that he had the hot brake problems and he did drop back from second to fourth and like you said, remained consistent and managed to give the car to Marchie for him to plough through, and that was one of the best stints I've seen from Marchie in a long, long time. The crowd enjoyed it for sure, and it'll be interesting to see just how the championship now looks after that race. We've got another one this weekend. So let's have a look at how we started with Venter at the top of the tree at the beginning of the weekend. Now still there, but look how close it is. Sean Thong moves to 37 points, as does Marchie Lee, as the Audis have made their way and attack the Australian Bentley driver now on 41 points. Rizzo's on 37 too. That's his team number as well. And likewise Anthony Liu. So it's close at the top, just a few points between the leaders. Then it drops to Kitasawa away on Oamon duty. And Adelaide Fong, after that victory, will be climbing up the board as well. Tough start for the Italians, but I would have thought by the time we get back to China, don't you worry, that Lamborghini will be there, and Alfa will have had a word, and we'll get those boys back on track.
Yeah, a little bit of a quiet weekend for them so far, but I'm sure that they'll put that car right tonight and be ready for round 4.
So an interesting start for sure here at the Festival of Speed, Destination of Speed they call it, the Chang International Circuit. Great circuit for racing, as you've now witnessed, and I think a pretty good display by Marchie Lee. A little lost for words, perhaps, but...
I don't think he was lost for words,
no, he wasn't.
Jonathan.
He said it exactly as it was, really, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, he was, of course, but like, you just got to remember, he's just got out of that car, 66-degree temperature in there for, even if it was only half an hour. Try and sit inside of a sauna at 66 degrees for half an hour. You certainly lose a lot of fluid. The last thing you feel like doing when you get out, even if you do win, is talking on the camera. To be honest, he was that... mentally and physically finished when he got out of the car. He wasn't even sure that he'd won the race. He was just pushing as hard as he could, and he was very, very consistent. 34.4 for him. Very impressive stuff.
Not hard to do a highlight reel when you've got so many to work with. Brilliant start to the weekend. Plenty of highlights in round 3. The checkered flag, though, dropping for Marchie and Sean Thong in an excellent performance by Audi. And top draw stuff put them straight into contention immediately. And it does set tomorrow and round 4 up nicely.
Round 3 overall.
Head down to the podium in a minute to see them celebrate, and Audi are going to enjoy this one. I think
A shower of
the
champagne.
Chang beers will be passed around tonight, don't you think?
Definitely after the champagne shower. Good drive, of course, by Adelaide Fong and Andrew Kim.
Toughest job in motorsport, being the Michelin man in Thailand in this heat. Yeah, Steve, if you get in trouble, we'll give you that job.
The Michelin man. Yeah, Marchie Lee's just started to recover now up there on the podium. He realises he's won, and there's a bit of a smile on his face.
Well, news will travel back to Germany. Verstehen Deutsch Technique. And their endeavours will be heard around the world. Congratulations to Thong and Lee. Senior Marketing Executive handing out the prizes. Third place going to Fong and Kim for Bentley. Likewise, Bentley in second place with Pappy and Butikon. Good result for them, for Team Absolute. Tough weekend in many ways. Congratulations to Sean Thong and Mark Chi Lee. Phoenix Racing taking their first victory of the series for the Audi R8. He hasn't forgotten how to dance. Yeah, change your flight, Steve. Sunday night could be a big one. Everybody getting the traditional photograph, and we'll get the traditional bubbly in a minute. So, we have our first winner here in Thailand, and it's Mark Chi Lee and Sean Thong. My thanks to Steve Martin. We'll be back again to bring you all the action of round 4 when they do it all again in GT Asia. Until then,